poses are to help in through the low back, and we're going to use a bolster for these. Now, this is a bolster that we have in the yoga studio. It's the larger one. It can be any size. It's just, this is a good thickness, I find, for lifting the low back. But this is pretty good. Like if use what you have at home. You can use, usually it's about 2 head pillows from a bed, or you could use 3, couch pillows like this. So basically you're looking at this height to get the bum up in the air, which is a lot of what yoga is about. Getting your bum up in the air, lengthening the low back. So again, either a stack of pillows. I'll use the bolster. The reason you would invest in a bolster, and it could be anywhere from $45 Canadian to $75. This is about a $55 one, and I think that's because I bought a grouping of them. Good place to get them is the Yoga Show in Toronto, for example. They usually have a really good price there, especially on the last day. But anyways, marketing aside, come on down, and you're going to take the bum right to the top, and you've got the tailbone right at the very top. And then you come all the way down, press the shoulder blades under, and just let the weight of the tailbone rest on the bolster. And then to stretch in through the low back, start by drawing the right knee in. We always do the right leg first, and then you let the left leg straighten. And if you really want to stretch in through the low hip here and through the psoas, hip flexor, then you can reach that leg out, pull the toes back, flare the toes, and then pull this right knee to the outside towards the shoulder, and that will deepen the stretch in the hip. And if you're super bendy, then you could do the Gumby version, and you could take your foot under, wow, and then we could maybe, the knee might come quite high, but let's just see, ooh, wow. So you're going to keep that knee pressing out, holy cow, and that's going to really open up in through that hip flexor. So notice, I could do that maybe, and you pull the right knee in. Now I'm really on the top of the foot here, and the knee I'm directing out. But as you can see, the hip flexor is so tight that the knee is quite high. And then pull this knee and breathe and pray. And to see how much you can pull the leg in. Wow, it's so good in through the thigh if you've got the foot under. And then of course, otherwise you've got the leg straight. Oh, what a relief. And then you can release that right leg. And then changing sides again. Make sure the tailbone stays to the top. Pull your pants up, and then take that left leg in, and you can pull the left knee either towards the outside, or you can pull it in towards the chest. The right heel reaching out, the toes pulling back, and again, if you want to really go for it, taking that foot under, coming under the pillow or the bolster, drawing that left knee towards the right shoulder, so you really pull out. And you're letting the head rest back, sending that knee away. So again, really opening in through the hip flexor there. Breathe and let us pray. Just keep the knee reaching out, and do let the bend of the elbows draw the knee in so your shoulders are back. There isn't a lot of forward action. Keep the neck free and keep that right knee pressing out. It's really brilliant to stretch the top of the thighs before you go into the low back, because you might get a bit more of a stretch in the low back. And then you release that left leg, come on down, and take the bolster right under the tailbone again, and just make sure you're there with a little ducktail flip around. And then stretch the arms overhead and reach through the fingertips. Spread the fingers. And then soften the elbows so you can press the shoulder blades under. And then move the head a little, side to side, so you can make sure that you're keeping the neck free. And then press into the feet. The feet are hip width apart, so probably about 6 inches. Press on the insides of the feet and scoop the tailbone out, and maybe you come off the bolster. Otherwise, you can do this. You can keep the bum in the bolster. Still press the feet into the floor, because that'll activate the backs of the legs. And keep the gaze towards the ceiling. So we're firing up the hamstrings, the backs of the buttocks and in through the low back. And you want to keep the upper body uninvolved so that you can really relax in the upper body. And then again, if you're lifted, come down. And if you're down and you can lift, come up and scoop the tailbone out, coming up off the bolster. Now, keep the reach out of the tailbone. And if the knees are tender and it hurts, then come back down and take the feet further away, a few inches or 6 inches, so that you have less pressure on the kneecap and the ligaments, and then come back up. It's a very different pose. You might even want to try that out just to see the difference. You'll get a longer reach out of the tailbone with the knees further away. So notice if that's brilliant, if that's more what your knees or your low back need. Otherwise, I'm going to come back down and show you the original position. The knees are bent strongly, the heels are under the knees, so you've got a right angle. So heels under knees, that's all you need to know. I know it's tricky because when you can't see yourself, where are you in space? So this is a really good way to get that tailbone reaching out. And then you can come on all the way down. Okay, now the left leg straightens, and then you're going to take the arms up. Draw the right knee in, and as I said, it's always the right knee, and come on into circles. So the right knee on the right side of the body is the ascending colon, and so you want to increase the stimulation in this direction when you're working on the intestines. And you hug that knee and you're circling. And then you can cross that right knee over, and you're going to come on the outside of the bolster of the pillows. So you're going to come into a spinal twist. Use that left hand. Take the right arm up on a right angle like so. Let the elbow drop back. Gaze to your right. And one of my favorite things to say at this moment is my sister Gay was in the class one day. And she was to the right of the room, and I said, gaze to your right, and Gay was to the right. So gaze to your right, and keep that right knee reaching across. Now something that's really nice here is you might want to straighten the leg out, and you pull the toes back, grab somewhere, and draw the leg up and over as that right arm stays back. And you gaze to your right, and you keep that right heel reaching out. The upper body rests back as the heel reaches out. You're really staying with deep breaths. And then you're going to take the right leg up. Draw the right leg in. Of course, you can bend a bunch for the hamstring. This leg, drop and pull the toes down. If you can do that, that'll help to open the back of the knee, and it'll work on the Achilles, calf. But the main thing is, remember, you're one unit here. So in yoga, we're not so much trying to stretch the Achilles or the calf. We're more doing this, reaching the heel out to lengthen the back of the leg. And that will engage the whole back of the leg. The toes draw down and back as much as you can. And then it's kind of fun to do a little side to side here, windshield wiper-like. Perfectly fine if this left foot comes off the floor in pure empathy. That can happen. And then one of my favorite things to do is just seesaw, is pull back the leg towards you. And again, you keep the toes pulling back as the heel reaches up. And the bend of the elbow is pulling the leg over. The neck is free. There's a little gap under your neck, so you do not tuck your chin. There's a picture of Marilyn Monroe doing this shoulder stand, and she's got her chin tucked. That's wrong. You really want to keep the head. I think she was looking at her cleavage probably, but you want to just keep the head back so you get that wonderful release in the neck. And after you've done a little bit of this, coming back and forth, and you feel good, because you can always pause the video and keep on feeling how deep you can go, because that might be just so right for today's practice. Every day you're going to have a different experience of your body. And it's not a matter of doing what you did yesterday and keeping up, but more of feeling and how can you get long. How can you get long? The breathing will guide you. So then you let that right leg down and be there for a minute with either the knees bent, because that's better for the back, or with the legs straight. And feel the two sides, so feel the right and left. And notice the buzz, the hum of the increased circulation. you've got more oxygen in the right hip and the right leg. And now that the right foot is down, you've got more blood that's going to rush into that area. So you've oxygenated that right foot. Remember that the lower legs and the feet can get, depending on your skin color, can get blue because you've got a lot of blue venous deoxygenated blood there. So when you take the leg up and you put it down, you get the fresh blood from the heart going back down to the foot. So that's why inversions, getting upside down, headstand, shoulder stand, and getting the legs in the air is so important. So get all long, make sure the upper body is released, and then we go again. We take the left leg up, bring that left leg in, hug it in. So really squeeze. The elbows are bending, circle the knee in. And then you can take that leg up in the air, reach through the heel, hold on somewhere, draw the toes back, and appreciate that we're very bilateral. There will always be a difference in the two sides. So it might seem like one side is a lot tighter in the back, and it is. There will be. We really have to work at getting even on both legs and both arms and both sides of the body, because we have a dominant side that we use. And it's not even because of right or left hand. It has to do with the spine. And if there's a slight tilt to the pelvis, a lot of it is from the spine, the discrepancy. And you want to reach the heel up again, draw the toes back. If you need to bend the knee like this, absolutely. Just feel for the best way today that can keep you breathing. And keep the breathing in and out through the nose. Lengthen that leg out. The shoulders are free, so again, the bend of the elbows draws the leg down. And then you're going to come over. So you're going to either bend the knee or straighten the leg over. I'm going to straighten to get into the door here. And I'm using the door to pull the heel up, which is brilliant through the side heel. So just notice if that's something good. And you can reach that heel out, and then you're gazing to your left. And just feel the weight of the head come back. This arm comes out, and you're really pulling this hip up and across. And you've either, again, got the knee bent or you have the leg straight, whichever feels best. On the exhale, I like to really dish in the core, like pulling it up, so that you're stabilizing the back and it deepens the stretch. And you stay with your breathing. Breathing in and out through the nose. Any little wriggling to make sure the upper body stays resting back. And keep your body dropping back. And then you can draw that leg back up, pull it in, and then come into your windshield wiper a little or a lot, side to side. So feel free to go far. Feel free to really reach that heel out and pull the toes back. We're taking the largest joint in the body and we're moving the hip in it so that you're going to increase the movement in this ball socket joint. We normally just go forward and back, so we're going side to side to stir this giant bone in the hip socket. And then you can just check and see how your toenails are doing. That's what I find most people do in class. They're like, boy, I need a pedicure. So just do reach the heel, but do stay in your practice. I'm just being a wise guy. And then you can take that leg back. Here we go. We're going to take the leg down. And then just notice if you've traveled and pull your pants up or pull your bolster under your back again. And then draw the knees in wide. This is brilliant for the low back. Just let the knees bend to the outside and let the elbows bend you in. And then if it's wonderful, take the heels up. And this is like doing a modified shoulder stand. So for many people, shoulder stand can be a big commitment, and this is a great way to modify. You've got the heels reaching up. The weight of the tailbone is on the bolster. And just so we know what I'm talking about, shoulder stand is this. It's where you've got your hips up in the air, and your elbows are pressing down, and the head is pressing back. And sometimes it's just too much. And so we use the bolster to give us that rise of the hips, and we don't have to commit to the lift. Now, you can have the bolster down this low, because that's quite great for stretching the low back, or you can have the bolster here under. I came up about 4 inches, and now I'm at the waistband with the top of the pillow or the bolster. And then you're taking the legs up. Relax the head completely. Let the arms rest to the side. And if it's a piece of cake, take the feet over towards the head side of the body. And you can keep your head pressing back. So again, no tucking of the chin, no looking at your cleavage. Just keep that reach out of the legs. Now again, the hamstrings can be so tight here. So bend the knees. What we're working towards is the breathing. The breathing. We want the breathing in and out. That's first. And then the pose will stretch the back. If you breathe, you will find your greatest range. And you want to let the upper body go. Keep the heels reaching out. Feel the length in through the backs of the legs. And then you can gently come on back up. And then take the soles of the feet together. This can be done without the bolster or with the bolster. You're going to grab onto the feet by lifting the upper body. Hold the feet together in a clap. And then send the knees wide. So you're coming into this supine cobbler pose. And you pull the feet towards you to stretch the sacral area down into the bolster. And the head is back. Press the knees wide to keep the feet pressing together. And then you can let your heels come down. Let the feet just come on flat down onto the floor. Pull your pants up. And then just let your upper body go. This is a really nice way to finish. And as with all practices, you may be continuing and going on to the next video, because I have a lot of quickies. And then you can take the bolster down and just take it under your knees so that you're letting the backs of the knees be supported. Rest the arms to the side if you are coming into Shavasana, and just let your whole body go back. Shoulders are free. Wriggle down. Get the shoulder blades under so the neck is long. And then come right down into